Hello! Welcome to my account. Welcome to this video. As you probably read in the title, recently I made a questionable purchase. I got a fursuit mask off of Etsy. Now what makes this one different from all the other fursuits out there? This one is not only a Kigurumi suit, which is a Japanese type of fursuit, but it is also debatably mass-produced. If you go on AliExpress or on Etsy, you'll find a bunch of Kigurumi suits that look very similar. And the reasoning is because they are mass-produced. Now, I got this off of Climbing Design, which they do have a few things that are more original than the ones that you'll find on AliExpress. That being said, most of these are still drop shipped. This specific store is a little bit questionable because if you look in their reviews, you can see that they change up the costume a little bit to make it match people's requests. They'll change the hair color, the eye color, so it makes you think they might have a little bit of a hand in the production of it. It's not just, here's this 12-cent item from AliExpress. In response to an allegation of saying that it was drop shipped and mass produced, they said this. But how true is that?
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Nonetheless, I have been eyeing these masks for about a year now. I started looking at them around this time last year, but I was living in a dorm at the time and I was like, this is a project I don't need to take up. I need to go take up my classes projects and not focus on furry things. Finally, I said, screw it, and I bought one. And the thing about this is there is a bit of discourse in the fandom in regards to these kinds of things with the spirit masks and this thing. And the discourse is, A, it isn't a real fursuit because a fursuit is an artist-created item, and B, are we taking money from actual creators? My take on it is that these mass-produced items, like the spirit mask and this thing that I purchased, they're so much different because they don't have the quality that an artist-created fursuit would have. They're cheaper for a reason, and they're not gonna last as long as an artist-made fursuit. I purchased one of these because I have this funny little thing called sensory issues, and in every single fursuit that I've tried on of my friends, or ones that I've even owned, I was like, wow, I'm miserable. And not even from a heat standpoint, but like things are touching my face. And I could probably only wear it for maybe like at most 5 minutes at a time. So I purchased this as a starter for me to see if I can physically handle wearing a Kigurumi suit, because I've never tried one on before. So this is my test, and if it works out for me and I take this to a con and I enjoy it, I'm gonna invest in a artist-created suit. For now, here are some recommendations of Kigurumi suit makers because they deserve the credit. They make such beautiful creations and I don't want to undermine that. Now I purchased this mask and there are a million out there just like it. I mean, I got it because it looks like my fursona that I've had since I was 14 years old. I'm 20 years old now, but I mean, she's not really the epitome of creativity. She's a cat with pink hair. How many other cats with pink hair are out there? But do you think I'd buy this and just take it out as is when it was kind of falling apart? Because again, the quality is not the same as an artist-made product? Absolutely not. I took it and I fixed it up. And a ton of other artists like me do this with things like spirit masks and these kind of AliExpress masks, and I wanted to try my hand at it. This is going to be the process of fixing up a AliExpress / Climbing Design Etsy fursuit. If you're not too interested in the process and just want to see the before and after, go ahead and head head to this timestamp. Spot the difference. Here we are with the mask straight out of the box. First, I'm going to show you a few features that it comes with and a few of its flaws. Getting started, we've got 2-inch long fur for the hair. It's not lined on the back, but that's not a big deal. The fur is surprisingly very high quality when it comes to the hair. One of the biggest complaints I've seen for this costume is the fur on the back of the little bang things isn't lined. There's nothing on the back, so it's just kind of raw, and I know there are ways to fix that. I've seen tutorials, but it's still not the best. The neck comes with short, soft fur. There's no support on the back of the head for the mask/fursuit, so it's really easy for the fur to cave in and then become super tangled and matted. When it comes to the facial features, the minky they used for the mask itself is super soft and high quality. One thing a lot of people experienced, me included, was the nose just popping off really. It's very loosely attached. I had a hard time getting my nail around it to show the camera, but you can see. And I know I've said a million times that this will never be artist quality, but it came with this weird scrape on the eye. I at first thought that it was one of my cat's hairs, and it was just a stray mark, and I couldn't get it off. On top of that, just like me getting out of cosplay, the lashes just peel straight off. Really, there's no force attached, it just comes straight off. The inside comes with a buckle for the neck fur, which I actually really liked. I thought that was cool. This is the inside. As you can see, there's the buckram used to make the eyes and the minky. The neck isn't lined, and they just use an elastic strap to put on the mask, which a lot of professional Kigu suits will come with kind of a helmet feature to where you can adjust it to your head size. Another thing is this kind of styrofoam feature used for the facial padding. I would recommend putting something else in there. And that's the inside of it. I gave her a little brush because she really needed it. The fur spikes up really easily. Here we come in with the destroying process. I start by ripping off those lashes and keeping them to use for a pattern, but it was very easy to get these off. I tried taking the eyes out by using my thumb to push them in, but they were surprisingly very sturdy. I had to get violent. I used an X-Acto blade to basically just carve out the eyes, and I should have been more careful here because I did nick the minky a few times. And here it is, the soulless husk of a fursuit. I did a really bad job with the minky on the left eye. It was going to be covered up anyways, but if you do this, be careful. I tested out a few chalk pastel colors that I was wanting to use on the face. Here's the palette that I used. I sat down with some brushes and got to work. Here we go! Here we get into the process of the eyes. I had already tested this buckram to make sure the colors sat how I liked them and to see if it could take it. fabric gluing the eye in place was a little stressful and also got my hands really sticky, but I did end up doing it successfully. I made the mistake of cutting one of the eyelashes the wrong way to where the back of the fabric was showing on the face, so I made 3 eyelashes. I also wanted to make fur lashes like a lot of Kigu suits have, so I brushed out the bottom of her little bangs and decided to sacrifice some of the length for it. Here I am gluing on the big pink furry caterpillar that is her eyelashes onto her face. I used some of the same chalk pastel to highlight the eyelashes. I just should have put something to cover the eyes because I forgot about the fall. Here I am crafting a nose out of polymer clay. I wanted it to have a heart shape, but not too obviously a heart. Once it was baked, I painted her a cute little pink nose, and it did wonders for the face, let me tell you. To add some volume to these little pigtail bang thingies, I decided to sew them shut instead of brushing them through. I got this fabric to line the neck because the fur was really uncomfortable and this wasn't too hot, but also not too thin, and it was super soft. I didn't get a lot of footage of the process of lining it. Doesn't really matter since no one sees it, but I pinned it in and hand sewed it in. After playing with the long bangs, I didn't know if I wanted to remove them or keep them, but eventually I decided that I should just move them to a different place and give her some kind of pigtails, considering that's what I wear all the time. I used a seam ripper to take them off, and when I sewed them on, you couldn't see them, they just fell flat. So I sewed a few inches down to make them stick up, and oh my gosh, I loved it so much. That really added some character. It's not a Kigu suit without accessories, so I made her a hairpin.
And here we are! These aren't her paws, because obviously they have black on them, and my Sona doesn't have any black on her. But this is how she turned out. I think my biggest complaint, well, first of all, I need to pin her pigtails back. But I think my biggest complaint is how small it is. When it comes from more professional companies, they are bigger. Also, one complaint that stands even with my reparations to this costume is the ventilation. The ventilation is just super poor. That being said, this wasn't really difficult at all. This was a super easy base to add things to. And also, I just think she looks cute. I really like her. Now that I have it on, my biggest complaint is because the mouth is so small, I'm wondering where would you put a fan? That being said, I am wearing a cardigan with this, which isn't smart. So that was the process video of fixing up a Etsy/AliExpress fursuit. Would I recommend doing this? Honestly, I'm not sure. I think if this fits your budget, yes, but I would recommend saving up for something better. And now let's take a better look at her face. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.